We are good.
Do you have lights? No, would you turn the switches on? A lot. One more. There you go.
And fans.
Yeah.
Good morning!
Good morning.
How the heck is everybody today?
Great.
You know, we're always playing old songs, but that's because we're old.
You want newer stuff, recommend.
Yeah, but we do
try.
play new stuff every once in a while. It's kind of
Because
amazing.
people recommend.
And they're good songs. Yeah, Reach Out, Four Tops. They did that in 1966.
Wow.
But you know,
Just a baby.
Reach Out, kind of like, you know, yeah, Reach Out, Four.
And
Reach
it's
out.
got all the love that you need.
I know. Well, because we're the only church in the universe that plays the Doobie Brothers as their opening song. That was from 1972. But that goes right along with my everyday driver. My car is 60 years old, and then I have a 40-year-old that is occasionally driven.
You better
and then my
not tell them how
28-year-old.
old I am, Phil.
No. No. Does this face look stupid? Does this face look stupid?
How many miles you get?
You don't even want to know.
All right, t-shirts and sweatshirts that you may or may not want. 90% off awesome, 15% bad at math. So, and a picture of an apple with the sign of pi in the middle. Apple pie. So, yes.
Right, Mark? You could wear that one.
Yes. Math, it's the only class that counts.
Oh.
And then a pie t-shirt, just with pie on it. So, oh, you have to think about this one for a minute, but don't think for too long. It says, an opinion without pie, the sign, is just an onion. Pie is P-I, so yeah. Oh. It's okay. Half of all people are below average. Who says?
Not us.
Yeah. Of course, we are the new normal.
Yes.
Now that's scary, isn't it? Yeah. All right, we do have a couple patron saints by the name of John Lennon and George Carlin. And if you don't know who they are, just look them up. They were cool people. So, and John said, "Time you enjoy wasting was not wasted."
True.
It's true. It's true. And George, always insightful too. So far, this is the oldest I've been.
I hope to get older.
Yeah. It's true. Okay. How about, March 29th, 1848. No, I don't remember that. The Niagara River froze solid. I have seen pictures of this, though. It's very impressive.
That's gotta be cold.
Stopping the flow of the tremendous Niagara Falls. For a few hours, locals were able to walk along the riverbed upon which the falls cascade. Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
That'd scare the crap out of me because you never know it would down the brain. I'm not very adventurous, I guess.
Women deserve to have more than 12 years between the ages of 28 and 40. Okay. Most men who rail against women are railing at one woman only. And we could say the same about women too. So, not always, but sometimes. The best place to find a helping hand is at the end of your own arm.
Yes. Oh, true.
And charity begins at home. Terence actually said that. He was a philosopher. Philosopher. Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. You
Yep.
ready for this?
Nope.
No one is ever ready for this.
Why did the dog say meow? You'll never get this stupid. That was probably better. He was trying to learn a second language. I just read them. I don't, yeah. What's a cat's favorite song?
Meow.
Three Blind Mice. What do you get when you cross a dog and a dandelion?
The dandy dog?
A cauliflower. Plus a dog and a dandelion. Which game do cats like to play with mice?
Hide and seek?
Catch.
That was close.
Yeah. All right. Why did the litter of communist kittens become capitalists? Because they finally opened their eyes. Why are cats better than babies? Because you only have to change the litter box once a day. What is the name? See, I thought that was hysterical. It actually is like, oh yeah, true. What is the name of the unauthorized autobiography of the cat? Hiss and Tell. What do you get when you cross an elephant with a cat? A big furry creature that purrs while it sits on you. Yeah, close enough.
You want to know who sent those?
Yeah.
Mary Loga.
Oh.
She's a cat.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, 2007 she sent these to me.
Oh.
I probably said them then, but you don't remember, and neither do I.
That was a long time ago.
I know.
So this week we have, after services, we'll have Say May, which is a healing thing. She's going to do a healing sampler after services. That's Andrea, if she comes. There's no Course in Miracles on Monday. Wednesday is Drum Circle. I hope it's not too hot to drum. We'll have the air conditioner on in here. And then
And if you don't have a drum, Daryl always has extra drums, so
and we
just come and have
extra
fun. And we
drums
have
here,
extra
so
drums here.
There's plenty. Yep. And then on the 19th is
Next Saturday.
the Crystal Circuitry Part 3 class with Beth. There's a cost for that, $20. It is awesome. We're going to be doing body crystals, so that's a real interesting thing to do. And so we'll do a little bit of review.
That's
and
kind of a, you can do that for healing too, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. That's what it's for. And the ones we're going to work on this coming time is it'll be a lot more interactive because there'll be some in your back and that sort of thing. So we'll work on each other. But having this balanced circuitry, energetic circuitry, is really powerful stuff. So that's Saturday from 10:30 to noon. And that's it for now. Whoo! Yeah. Am I forgetting anything? Probably.
Careful the heat the next couple of days.
Yeah, for sure.
It's summer. I mean,
Yeah. So we have a guest speaker today.
yay!
Yay! And so if you would give a really big Divine Fellowship welcome for Michele Lanigan. Woo-hoo! I shall unhook myself and anoint you.
Okay.
Unless you want to
Do it this way?
your way.
Oh, that's right. Those
Straight over.
feathers go on the front.
Yep, there you go.
Okay. Cool.
Somebody told me last week that she thinks her mother made that.
Oh, really? So I don't know if it's better what chair I sit in. See, when Janice and Phil are here, they're kind of centered in the frame there. So I think I'll be here. Well, good morning, everybody. It's so nice to see you all. I was telling the folks in the healing room, I have to warn you ahead of time. This is not like a jovial message like some of the ones I've done where it's all giggles. But we'll end up positive. So I'm just warning you if you start going, just, bear with me. Because it's kind of a serious topic. And I could tell when something is serious and it's going to get everybody all kind of lit up is because I start feeling it. And I had a really hard time getting here today. And I had a hard time finishing this. Usually it's like, I get excited about it, but I'm like, man, this is like, nah, it's not that. Yeah, it is. It doesn't need it. Anyways, so now that you're all on your seats waiting, what's happening? First of all, I got to take off my glasses so I can see. So, have you guys ever noticed that when you start to work on stuff, when you start to heal yourself emotionally, kind of things get weird in your life? You know, you might get in conflict with somebody, or things start breaking, or just it just seems to be a lot of stuff. And we were talking about in the healing room, well, maybe it's a full moon, and sometimes it could be something like that. But I know for sure for me, if I start, okay, I want to start working on such and such, maybe how I feel about something, or maybe how I solve problems, or maybe trauma I had, and I want to let go of that energy. I'm going to start healing it. Healing takes place in layers, right? And so what happens when you start doing this, it's kind of like when you decide, oh, I'm going to do a deep clean on my house, and then your house gets really messy before you're finished. At one point you've got laundry piled up, laundry room, and you've got garbage bags ready to go out, and your broom is over here, and you've got dishes. You've got a whole bunch of things going on at once. Well, that's what happens energetically when you start working on yourself. So as your awareness amplifies when you're looking at your healing and you're seeking your truth, everything feels crazy and broken because you start to become aware of the layer of negativity and lies. That's why healing can kind of sometimes be a little bit of a challenge. So that's what we're going to talk to you about today, is that how do we navigate that without feeling like we're having a nervous breakdown or something. That's the funny part. That's all the jokes I got. So, and here's the other part, is you start to get into the blame game. Blaming yourself, blaming your family, blaming everybody. And if you remember last month, and I did not realize that that last month was going to have a follow-on, but it's funny because they kind of dovetailed together, and then also Joe Montgomery's talk kind of dovetails into this, and there's some other ones, and it's just kind of funny. Oh, things just sort of happen that way. So last month I talked about the ego being a body energy. And being in the ego takes us out of our spiritual place. It takes us out of love. It takes us out of our connection with spirit. It takes us out of our connection with source. So the thing is with blame and other negative energies, those kind of negative energies belong to the ego. The ego, the body energy, wants to be in charge. It does not want spiritual growth. It does not want change. Remember, the ego's purpose is to keep us safe. The ego is a body energy, keep things safe. Don't rock the boat. You rock the boat, you might fall over. So it's a very different kind of energy. It's not necessarily bad. If you didn't hear last month, if you want this to make more sense, you can go back and listen to that. So you spent your whole life, your ego has created your whole life of creating a persona of who you are. All of your I am statements, are all something that you created. So now here you are going along on your spiritual growth journey, and I want to change that. That doesn't work for me anymore. And your ego is going, no. So just to give you an example, I was trying to reach for something that might be neutral but related to everybody. So let's just say you think of yourself as, what?
I'm sorry, I was trying to turn off my phone.
Oh, okay.
I erred. I'm sorry.
I thought somebody, it was a being. Spirits. Where are they? So let's say you decide you're going to get healthy, but you've told your whole life that you love sugar, you love candy, you love bread, you love hamburgers, you love Coke, French fries, chocolate shakes, candy, more chocolate, more ice cream. So you've told yourself all these things your whole life, and now you want to tell yourself, no, those aren't good for us. We don't want that. So you've created this persona of who you are. Your I am statements, which are emotionally charged, become a part of you. And now you get to a point where you want to change them, and where you've built this into your ego. And when you start to see those lies, and you start to look at changing them, and you start to look at who the truth is, your ego goes into the blame mode. And it's like when somebody says, it's not my fault, I was raised that way. It's my ex's fault that I didn't get my degree, or whatever. And that may be true. There may be some things that happen in your life that are somebody else's fault. But it doesn't mean that has to be the energy that you run to solve a problem, because that's not going to, that negative energy will not solve a problem. So instead of fixing your energy, you end up going into nurturing that problem in the past. So let's say somebody did do something to you in the past and you say couldn't get the degree you wanted. So your energy all goes into the past to try to solve that problem from when it was created, instead of being in present time. So this is just one of the ways. Blame messes with us in a lot of ways. And some of the things it does, it will put you into judgment, right? You have to make a judgment, and that's not neutral. Remember, when you judge something, when you start blaming somebody or something, that's not neutral. And last month I also talked about, the Buddhist philosophy about observing and don't judge, to observe instead of judge. And this also applies to acceptance, because acceptance is like, oh, that person is really weird, but I love them and accept them for who they are. How about you just love them and accept them for who they are, without the judgment that goes before that? You see the difference there? So the Buddhist philosophy is just observe. It's a very, very neutral way of looking at things. So the first thing that blame will do is put you into judgment. And then what happens is you have to decide that the other person is wrong. Blame is not, blame is about blaming other people, although we do blame ourselves too, which is just as hurtful. So you have to decide that somebody, in this case we're using somebody else, is wrong. And then we want agreement. Let's say you have a family and a couple people in the family get into a spat. And then what happens? They start calling all the other family members. And they want to get agreement. They want to get support. They want to get other people into that whole game of let's blame. I mean, anybody who's had, especially if you have 3 kids, it's really, if you have more than three or more kids, that blame game, and that whole dichotomy of, okay, well, so-and-so's my friend today, this one is my friend, this one my friend tomorrow, and, well, I'm not talking, you could just see the whole dynamics of when they get mad at each other of what's going on. Also, we want agreement. We want to be heard. We want to voice what we have happen, and we go to our friends, oh, do you know what happened to me? We may want restitution, because it's the other person's fault. And this is like really icky energy. I mean, have you ever been like with a group of friends, and then one of them starts complaining about something, and it just brings the energy of the group down? So, and I'm saying this because I want you to start thinking of your feelings as energy vibrations, and to be aware of that and how those energy vibrations affect who you are. So we accept this as a normal part of life. I mean, our courts are full of cases of people being sued. What's that called when you sue somebody? Damages?
Litigious.
For like damages, pain and suffering. It's your fault that I have pain and suffering. May not have been on purpose, but still your fault, and you need to pay me, right? And so we have, courts spend a lot of time. You spend a lot of time in court because of pain and suffering. And I remember, it was funny because I remember years ago talking about mediators, people who go in to try to mediate situations, and it could be corporations or countries or families. And one of the things that they found was that when you start mediating with people and you sit and talk to them and have them in a group, or have them sit down and talk, is that whatever the problem is, it's not that big of a deal, and the solutions come pretty easily. The problem is getting through all emotional crap. I'm sorry, can I say that in church? All the emotional doo-doo that gets built up. That's a very psychic spiritual term. But you get all that emotional stuff, that baggage going on, so that you can't communicate to somebody. And Joe Montgomery, when he did his class, and I just based out on the name, it was civility. So and he did 2 workshops, and if you got to go to either one of them, they were awesome. But he even mentioned that in there as well, is that the problem isn't it's not as big a problem, but our emotions make it charged. And that emotions comes from our blame. Somebody has to be wrong. I have to be right, so you have to be wrong. And then they end up going to court, and it ends up being a big mess. And I had a situation with my neighbors, and they sent me, and I had not had problems with them. I mean, we didn't. I live out in the country, 2 acres. They got 2 acres, so it's not like we're right next door. We have to actually walk over to have a conversation. But all of a sudden, I get this certified letter in the mail from an attorney from them, and I was like, "Holy crap, what's going on?" And it was about sprinklers. And then I wrote a letter back to the attorney, and then I got another letter, and I guess the sprinklers weren't an issue anymore. And I got another letter, and again certified, and it was about the property boundary. And so instead of just coming to me and saying, we think the property boundary is different, we want to get it surveyed and fix the fence. Well, my first thought would have been, why didn't you say something 2 years ago when we put in the new fence? But anyways, I would have paid for half of that, and we would have fixed it. And so my first reaction, of course, was to be, because that's what we do, right? That's our emotions. It's very real. But then I went to the attorney and I go, what am I going to do? This is really weird. I don't know what to do. And he goes, well, I could write a letter, and they could write a letter, and their attorney could write a letter, and we could go to court. And he goes, can you sit down and think of a way, to talk to them and figure this out? And I went, no. Because that's not what you want to do, right? When you're in that kind of space, you don't want to do that. So I went and I sat down and I meditated, and I actually visualized putting myself in their shoes. I visualized myself being over there, and I could see that they were upset. I wasn't entirely sure what about. It may not even have anything to do with me. But I could also see that he didn't want to talk to me. It was mostly coming from the guy. He didn't want to talk to me. And but also, he got along well with my ex-boyfriend when he was there. So I called up my ex and I go, would you do me a big favor? Would you go talk to this guy? Next thing you know, the survey's done, and my ex fixed the fence, and it was like no big deal. But there was something emotional going on, that I don't think I could have worked through. But it was, so the problem wasn't really a problem, is what I'm getting to. So I'm trying to show you how a lot of times things that we think are problems aren't. What happens is something gets triggered in us emotionally, and then we make it a problem. I know I lost my place talking about that. So anyway, so that was basically the point, is that when you lose your connection to yourself, to your spirituality, you give up your seniority, you become a victim, you lose your connection to source, you lose your communication with your higher self, your spiritual self. All that kind of blame energy is just so destructive to being a light worker. Most of us are here because we want to pursue that path. We want to pursue being a spiritual being. We want that to be a part of our everyday life. And when you come into church and you go to the healing, or you come to one of the events and you leave and you're feeling all happy in your happy space, and then you get in your car and you go out and somebody cut you off, and it's like, that instantly you go into that blame space. And why did that person have to do that? Or you get mad because the city's working on the streets and I can't get down, whatever that road is, that I had to turn around and go the detour this morning. But and then you start, oh man, the city is doing this, and why don't or why do they have to have that? And Ironman, when Ironman happened last year, you couldn't go anywhere in town, and so many people were mad. And then on the news they were going, oh, isn't this a great thing? And everybody's going, no, it's not. So there's lots of things to complain about, right? There's lots of things that can get you sucked in. But for you to not, what I'm trying to say is for you to not get sucked into that, for you to remember that that's just energy. And your emotions are how you communicate with spirit. your communication between your body and your spirit happens through your emotion. So if you are in an angry, resentful space, then that's going to generate that kind of events in your life. And so by being in a positive space, by being in connection with yourself as spirit, then you still have problems, life happens, but it's kind of like the thing with my neighbor. I mean, all he had to do was call me up or yell at me across the fence. And so when you're clear, when you're in your space, it's a lot easier to find your solutions to your problems. And you'll have less, because a lot of times things that we think are problems aren't really problems. They're maybe just communication. And this is something that, we're taught from when we're very young, right? You're taught, it's not my fault. All you gotta do is hang around with kids for a few minutes. That's not my fault. That's literally our get out of jail card, right? It's not my fault. And if you only have one kid, it's the dog's fault, I love these YouTube videos or these videos that pop up on Facebook, and there's a big mess there, and the mom goes, "What did you do?" And kid points to the dog. The dog's just laying there. So this is something that we learn. We were taught that the best way to avoid getting in trouble, so to speak, or the best way is to blame other people. If you hit that wall where you feel like you can't maybe solve this, then you end up going into blame. Or if it feels like it's something that's too bigger than you, something like that. Anyways, so like the city working on the street, that's a big thing. You don't want it to happen. And these things that are bigger than ourselves, those are the ones that can really get us lit up and get us angry and get us resentful. And you start blaming everybody. You start blaming whoever they are, the infamous they. Okay, it doesn't matter if we're talking politics or sports, the coach of the other team, whoever. There's always somebody to blame. That does not serve you. Blaming anybody does not serve you. It does not heal you. It does not help you. It does not support you in growth. It does not support you in creating change, positive change in your life. So the whole blame energy is crap. It's poo-poo. So we just have to let go of that. And this is common theme by other spiritual teachers. Jesus taught this. I mean, he didn't use those words, but he did he blame Judas? No, he did not blame. Did he blame the guards, the Romans that killed him? He did not. One of the last things he said on the cross was, "Forgive them." He did not blame them. Have you guys ever heard the story about how Buddha died? And this was something I read, and I again, don't know if it's a documentary, but the philosophy of Buddhism is for the monks to not go out and toil and collect or take or do anything. They have to be given to. So like I was invited a few years ago to go to the Thai Buddhist temple. It's over somewhere off of Keene. And we went in, and all these people brought us food and set it on the table, and the monks were there, and they went and sat on, it was kind of like a little dais thing, and then the people that brought in the food, they would make up a plate, and they would bring it and offer it to the monks. And but if those people did not show up, they did not eat. They had to depend on people to come. And then when they got done eating, then we all got to eat the rest of the really good food that was there. But the story of Buddha is that he was teaching that you go around and he would not ask for food. He would not go try to get food. He would just wait for people to give him food. And the story is he went to this old couple's house, and they had made soup to give to him, And he knew this soup was not good. He knew this soup was bad. And he knew that it was going to kill him. And he ate it, and he thanked him, and was in gratitude for them giving him the soup. So that's the story. I'm not sure if it's true. I don't know if there's a documentary on it, but it just shows you how the story, moral of the story is how to not blame, is to be acceptance and loving. So how do we get out of blame and back into love? Well, the biggest thing is the awareness. Oh, gee, I lost my space to that energy. I'm not in my spiritual self. I'm being upset. Have you guys ever seen that? There's a poster, sometimes people have it at work. It's hard to soar like an eagle when you work with turkeys. Yeah. Talk about, so you're blaming all your coworkers because you're not successful. That says a lot about you. So don't have when you work with turkeys. Yeah. Blaming all your don't have that poster. It's to blame. Like I said, you can't give up your serenity over it. And I read a near-death experience story. And near-death experience, those are people who died. I mean, these are people who actually died. And so this person had died, and it sounded like it was a car accident. But the person said that it so transformed their life in such a positive way, made them such a different person, that even though everybody was telling to, he did not sue the person that caused his death. I mean, he came back, but to cause him to go through that. And there's so many people that don't even think about, well, you should sue. Mm-hmm. Really? Maybe not. Attorneys don't want me to say that. So the other thing is think about compassion. If you can't think of loving the person, maybe think about being compassionate for them. Like when I sat down to do my meditation, see what was going on with the people next door, that wasn't my where I was coming from. But it ended up going through that step in that meditation, I became compassionate about what they wanted. And so if you can be compassionate about the other person in some way, and this is a common theme we see like in stories, real life stories, or even in the movies, there'll be about quarreling going on in the family, and then they haven't spoken for years, and then one person, all of a sudden, something changes, they have an epiphany, and they become usually compassionate or understanding about the other person, what they were going through. There's a movie called War Horse. Have you guys heard about it? Really good movie, War Horse. And I can't remember, it's not very new, but I think it's maybe about 15 years old. But I think you can watch it on Netflix. Anyway, so it's during the war, and they have this horse, and this horse gets into distress, and there's a battle going on. There's this side is shooting at that side, and the horse is in the middle of it, and the people in the trenches over here, the guy says, I need to go help this horse. No, you can't, you're going to get shot, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to ruin the scene for you, I promise. So he puts a handkerchief on, something white, and he has his little flag, and he's climbing out, and everybody, no, go, you'll get shot. And he gets out of the trench, and he's waving it, and there's the Germans are still shooting at him, and he's going, quit shooting at me, it's a white flag, I want to help the horse. And then so they stop shooting, and he gets over to the horse, and he's helping him, and then one of the German guys comes, and he's helping him. And they're having this pleasant conversation like you would on a street corner or something, and taking care of this horse. The whole battle stopped out of compassion for this horse. That's how powerful the energy of compassion is. Compassion and love are our two highest vibration emotions. So we're losing my place. But that is a really good movie. I cried like a baby. So when you're in a space of compassion and love, you can't blame, can you? And the important thing is to remember that all your positive feelings are coming from your divine source. So our goal in life is to try to be positive, be uplifting, to be in a place of love. If you're feeling negative, those are your emotions that are coming from your ego, blame. And if you are having a hard time getting out of that negative space, you can ask Spirit. You can say, help me get out of this mess. You know, when I was back in the healing, they asked me if I wanted healing, and I was feeling, and the first decision to heal yourself is to say yes, to accept a healing, to ask for a healing. And it works. So with that, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a meditation. We'll work on releasing blame. So just take a deep breath and close your eyes. And notice how your feet feel, your connection to the planet. You could create a connection down to the center of the planet. You could either do it through your feet, or you can do it through your first chakra, which is at the base of your spine. Just visualize that connection to the center of the planet, that grounding. Notice how good that feels for your body. When you start talking about stuff or start feeling things, grounding is a good way to just let go of anything that kind of has you maybe a little bit lit up, on edge, worried. And notice that you are in a bubble, your own little bubble. It goes all the way around your feet and around your body, about 18 inches out. If it feels like it's bigger, just pull it in and it be around yourself. You guys can come on and sit down. We're just starting. And notice how good that feels to just be in your own little bubble. This is your little universe, your connection to the planet, and be inside your center of your head. And the space in the center of your head is kind of right behind your eyes, and this is actually where your sixth chakra is, your clairvoyance. And notice that from here, this is your little control room for your body, for your space. And notice that if there is anybody that you are blaming, or any things that are happening in your life or have happened, and that energy of blame, notice if that's inside of your bubble, inside of your body, and just let go of that. You can just release it down your grounding to the center of the planet. You could just say, go away, you do not serve me. I do not need you. I do not want you in my space. Maybe you have somebody or something or an entity in particular something that you're particularly concerned about. And just make sure that they're outside of your bubble. They don't get to disturb your serenity. You can still have feelings and opinions without it becoming a spiritual tug of war with anybody else. You can just let go of that. You can send that back to the other person. You can ask Jesus or God to give you a healing on this. Maybe you're angry, and you could ask for healing to release the anger. Maybe it's somebody you have some kind of an agreement with, maybe like a family member, and you don't want to make complete separations, but you still want to have a positive experience with them. So you could ask God or Jesus or your spirit guides or your higher self. So let's just bring this agreement into present time. And you could take a deep breath and just let that energy release. And whoever you're blaming or whoever you might feel like you're in conflict with, you can just let go of that. Whatever problem you're working on, you can't solve it inside of your space. And if it is a problem that you really need to resolve, then you could ask Spirit, say, show me the answer. It may not be right now this second, but ask Spirit to let you be open to a solution you hadn't thought of. Like in the sample that I used, I ended up asking my ex to basically be like a mediator. So there may be a solution out there that you haven't thought of. And have the idea that will come to you. That may not be right this minute. Maybe a few days. It may be in steps. Just notice how powerful this is to be able to get out of that conflict, to get out of that anger, to have your space in your bubble, to have your serenity, to have your communication with yourself, right in your own body, your own bubble around your space, nobody else. Just release. And now I want you to visualize above your head a nice big golden sun. And let that sun be all of your own energy, your own spiritual energy. And let it be like a magnet and call back anything that you may have left laying around. Maybe energy that you've left with your conflict with other people. But you can just call it back. It gets neutralized. This is neutral energy for you, and it's your own energy. And bring that down into your top of your head and fill up your body with that beautiful gold energy. And let it go into your arms and your legs and fill up a bubble around you. So your whole bubble is filled up with this beautiful gold energy that's your own energy. And go ahead and bend over and stretch. Well, the room feels a lot clearer for me than when I first sat down. So any comments on how that felt for you? Or any comments about I always forget how to turn this on. Okay. So either about the meditation or what I was talking about. Any questions? Oh, Mark. Oh. Next, Mark.
So I just wanted to thank you, and it was very, very effective for me. And I was able to call in people that I had forgotten that I had filikia with, which is Hawaiian for not good relationship from the past. And so I called them all in and did the exercise that you led. And then I called my own energy back, and it was so effective, and I'm very grateful. Thank you so much.
Cool. Yeah, I got goosebumps when you're talking about that. That is so cool.
Thank you. Michelle, I went a different direction again with you. Maybe it's because I came late, but I couldn't find blame.
Okay.
And before the sun, which is beautiful, just the energy came flowing into me, but not from here, from here.
That's fine.
And it was wonderful. I hope that wasn't everybody's blame, but it felt good.
No, if it feels good, it's that's positive energy. No,
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
And you were here. You just were here in spirit. So you heard it. And the thing is when I was working on this, have also been saying hello to you as spirit. So if you have been a little bit of a roller coaster emotionally, then that could be part of it too. Anybody else? Any other comments or questions?
I just have one other comment. You know, I do work with Hawaiian spiritual philosophies, and your comment about the emotion speaking to spirit is very in line with the child self speaking to the high self. So thank you very much. I appreciated that.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, one more?
I'm Sharon. I liked what a lot of what you shared with about just blaming others and just not taking accountability for our own selves. And really, when we blame others like that, we are holding up a mirror. We look at the things that we don't like about other people, and it's really the things that we don't like about ourselves that is so hurtful to us because we just take that so personally.
And I'm sorry.
Thank you for that. But it is the way you just made us consciously release hurt and stuff and blame. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Carrie up here. Yeah, one thing about when we're talking about blame is one time at work, somebody was like really mad at this other person because of what they had did, and then they found out that it wasn't that person, it was this person, and their whole persona changed because they didn't like this person, but they liked this person. Same activity, the person had done something, but because it was somebody they liked, they weren't in judgment and blame and all that anger. So your emotions really control our lives. Okay?
Yeah, so I'm not in blame right now. That wasn't a topic for me. It is fear at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So just noting that the same thing can be done with any emotion that's keeping you stuck or in pain. So for me, I used compassion, and that was what I brought in for myself for being in fear, because I'll get very negative toward myself about I shouldn't be in fear, I should be in trust, I should be in faith. This is the walk I walk, and I've been blaming myself for
not being
in faith. So offering compassion worked for me. It's not completely gone, but I definitely felt some healing and some movement. So.
When I was doing this, it was fear. I had fear in here as well, because they kind of, the blame and the fear do go together, and it was like I just had to simplify it. But and I'm mentioning this because there was a video I was listening to. Michael Tamura is a teacher that I had gone to years ago. He's passed away, but his videos you can see on YouTube, and I'll post that on Facebook. So you guys, it's something like how to live a spiritual life in this world. It's something to that nature, but he talks a lot about fear in there. He talks about blame and fear now that I think about it. But anyway, so I'll post that for you, and hopefully, if you ask the question, probably somebody else has that too. So I think we're ready to switch.
I think we're ready to switch. Let's give you a big hand for
Thank
that.
you, everybody. I remembered not to wear a necklace today.
I wore one and I'll be tangled. My turn to be tangled. Mr. Phil, if you would turn the center light on, please, dear. Thanks. So we're going to do communion. If this is not your bag, you're not a follower of the way, thank you for holding sacred ground for the rest of us that do this. If you want to participate, there's a basket in the back that has these little individual communion cups. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Oh no, mine's missing.
No, this is different. This is a different one, Phil. So I wanted to share briefly something I just grabbed me this morning, and it wasn't.
Your new favorite?
Kind of. You know, in Luke chapter 15, Jesus tells stories, little parables, and so it's really kind of funny. He will talk about marketing. This guy knew how marketing. He would tell the stories, but not tell people what they meant. but he would tell just his apostles what the real meaning was and why he was doing it. But anyway, so there were two stories, one about the lost sheep and one about the lost coin. And in the religion I came from, they would beat up the fact, anyway, I don't want to go there. But what surprised me was there's both of these talks about rejoicing and joy at what we find. You know, if we've lost something in our life, like we lost our peace because we were full of blame or whatever, let's rejoice about that. So with that sense of rejoicing, let's do communion, shall we? Join me in prayer, would you? Loving Spirit of light, as we take this in, help us to remember to rejoice. Help us to remember to release blame and fear and rejoice. Guide us in this. Thank you. In the name of Jesus, the Ascended One. Amen. Join us in prayer again, please. Loving Spirit of light, as we drink this in, help us to drink in life, all of it. Help us to drink it in with joy. Help us rejoice in all of it. Help us to see the path for ourselves in all of it. Thank you. In the name of Jesus, the Ascended One. Amen.
Mm.
I also want to remind you, we have the little vase over here that we were putting yays in. You know, had a great thing happen this week. You write it down on a piece of blue paper. There's blue paper up on the back. It's our yay jar. Well, I took all those yays home and I read them all. And there was some really fun stuff in there. Somebody finished a book. Somebody met a challenge that was really traumatizing them. And so, you know, blessings for all of that. So that's, this yay thing perpetuates that memory of the good stuff, because it's so easy to get caught up in CRAP. The other thing is, when is the Ironman, Beth? You were talking about that, and I can't remember.
Not until September.
Not till September.
Mid-September.
Okay, when we get to that, we'll remind people to just stay home and watch on TV if you're,
Or just know it's there and figure out how to get here. I mean,
yeah, find another route.
Yeah, take another route.
Kind of surrounded, huh?
Yeah, we were, it was all around us, but,
Yeah,
yeah, we got here.
Except if you're in West Richland.
Yeah, West Richland was a whole
Yeah,
other.
West Richland was a whole different story. Anyway, thank you so much. Wouldn't be here without you. 27 years. Hard to believe. Just hard to believe.
Yep. Turn that off, please.
What?
Releasing all blame. He's really good spiritual
I am
practice
really
for
good
me.
at it.
He's really good spiritual practice for me. So let's do, yes ma'am?
Do a quick prayer for the victims.
I thought we would do that in our energy circle, but yes.
We did that last week too.
But we'll do it again.
Yeah.
So let's do an energy circuit for the folks online. Rub your hands together really, really, really fast. You're still connected in, bringing that beautiful golden energy, which is what we worked on today. Bring it into your heart space. And from your heart space, acknowledge this love, this compassion, this joy, and send it into your right hand. And then from your right hand to your left hand back to your heart space. This connects that energetic circuit, and the energy will begin to build between your hands. And as that energy builds, here's this beautiful, sweet energy that is amplified in your behalf, out of love, out of compassion, out of joy. Bring that into your heart,